Welcome to the Up-Down Reader. The Up-Down Reader software is a fast and easy-to-use method of calculating 50% von Frey thresholds in mice and rats. It is capable of calculating von Frey thresholds for plantar and visceral stimuli using the up-down method. Von Frey data is recorded on the datasheets we have provided and analyzed by the software. You can download the app from this webpage. For Macintosh, there is no further installation required. Simply download the app and double-click the mouse to launch the program. The download for Windows users includes two separate dependencies, GoScript and ImageMagick, which are required to run the software on Windows. By first installing GoScript and next installing ImageMagick, remembering to check the Legacy Utilities box, you can then run the software on Windows by double-clicking the app. When filling out a template sheet, it is important not to draw on the thick outside black border. Do not attempt to cross out large sections of the paper. This is an example of a sheet that can be read properly by the software. If a mistake is made, cross out at least 12 boxes for that animal. Experiment boxes on our data sheets are filled out with a pattern of X's and O's. An X indicates that an animal responded to the filament, while an O indicates that the animal did not. In this example, we will use a mouse with a plantar von Frey filament test. We begin with the 0.6 gram filament. In our example, the mouse does not respond, so we mark this with a circle. We move to the next stronger filament and see if the mouse responds to this. In this case, the mouse does not respond to the 1.0 gram filament. Following this, we move to the 1.4 gram filament. In this case, the mouse does respond, and we mark it with an X. All responses are recorded on the first line until a change in response is noted. At that point, you begin to move down to the second line. In this case, we will test the 1.0 gram filament on this mouse, as it responded to the 1.4 gram filament. Here, the mouse responds to the 1 gram filament, so we test the 0.6 gram filament, and record the response on the third line. We find that the mouse does not respond to the 0.6 gram filament, and test the 1 gram filament again. In this case, the mouse did respond to the 1 gram filament. We test the 0.6 gram filament again, and record the response on the final line. Now the test is complete. We will now show what happens if a mouse is insensitive to all filaments tested. In this case, you record all responses on the first line, and after testing the 4 gram filament, the test is complete. As our last example, if an animal is sensitive to every filament used, simply mark X's in each of these boxes, and the testing is complete after testing the 0.04 gram filament. After completing the datasheet for all animals tested, simply scan the datasheet to a PDF. Do not use a phone to take a picture of the datasheet. Here you can find a link to the Up-Down Reader publication, as well as the download link for the software. To cite our work, please use the format below. What follows is a video which demonstrates how to properly use the Up-Down Reader software.
In this demonstration, we will see how we can use the Up-Down Reader to quickly calculate the 50% pol withdrawal thresholds for 40 mice. In order to use the application, you first need to scan your template sheets to a PDF file, which can contain multiple pages. Once you launch the Up-Down Reader application, click Select File to choose and load a PDF file. Then, select from the list on the right the type of experiment you performed. Finally, click Start to process your data. Once the analysis completes, the results are shown in the middle panel of the interface, where you can see for each experiment the sequence of X's and O's in the same order that they were recorded. On the far right, you have the 50% thresholds. If you accidentally selected the wrong type of experiment, you can change it without rerunning the processing step, and it will automatically update the thresholds accordingly, as shown here. If you wish to edit or nullify particular boxes, you may do so using the bottom portion of the interface. So say you wanted to change that last entry in box 1. You accidentally wrote an O, but it should have been an X. You can simply come here and make sure you're looking at the right page number and the right box, and update the value here for an X. Then click Update to save your changes. This automatically updated both the sequence and the corresponding threshold. Now say you have an animal that behaved erratically and you wanted to nullify that experiment. Let's say this is the animal on page 2, box number 2. This one here. First, specify the page number and the box number that you wish to load. Click View to load its contents. Click Clear to nullify the experiment, and Update to propagate the changes here. You can also save the contents of this results panel at any time by clicking the Save button. When you click it, a pop-up window will tell you where the output file was saved. It will be in the same directory as your input file. So that is essentially how the up-down reader application works. If you need to print additional template sheets, you can click here on Download Input Files, and it will take you to our webpage where you can get them. If you have any questions, comments, or new feature requests, please leave a comment below or directly on our project webpage. Thank you for watching.